थैंक यू।
नहीं आएगा वहां पे।
थैंक यू। अमरजीत जी प्लीज, मिस्टर सारंगी प्लीज यू कंटिन्यू नाउ प्लीज।
आदरणीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, आपका धन्यवाद और आपके प्रति आभार व्यक्त करती हूं। आपने मुझे बोलने का सुयोग दिया। हिंदी की एक कविता है, उसकी कुछ पंक्तियों के साथ अपने वक्तव्य की शुरुआत करना चाहती हूं। अपने मन में एक लक्ष्य लिए, मंजिल अपनी प्रत्यक्ष लिए, हम तोड़ रहे हैं जंजीरें, हम बदल रहे हैं तस्वीरें। जिद है एक सूर्य उगाना है, एक नया भारत बनाना है, एक नया भारत बनाना है। विकसित भारत के विशाल लक्ष्य को लेकर हम सब आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में आगे बढ़ते जा रहे हैं और निश्चित तौर पर कहना चाहूंगी कि इस यात्रा में यह जो आर्थिक वर्ष 2025-26 का बजट हुआ, एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण मील का पत्थर साबित हुआ है। मैं आप सबको निश्चित तौर पर कहूंगी कि यह बजट 140 करोड़ देशवासियों की आकांक्षाओं और सपनों का बजट है और जैसा कि प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा था, यह जनता जनार्दन का बजट है। My esteemed colleagues, you will agree with me when I say that budgets that are capable of pleasing everybody are very rare. It does not seem possible to cut taxes, to reduce debt and deficit, and at the same time increase investment in growth promotion sectors and in the enhancement of infrastructure. This budget of ours, the budget of 25-26 of Government of India, presented by Madam Nirmala Sitharaman on 1st February 2025 in this Lok Sabha, does all this, and that is why it is rare by nature. Mr. Chairman, sir, please allow me to quote Martin Luther King Jr., the civil rights leader. He had said, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in the moment of comfort. The ultimate measure of a man is where he stands during the time of adversity, challenge, and controversy." And I must tell you that it's to the credit of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji and Madam Nirmala Sitharaman ji that they handled the economy of India with great deftness during difficult times, during COVID times, during the current geopolitical conflicts in different parts of the world, and in an atmosphere of increased protectionism by different countries. And because of their efforts, I say with all pride and I say with all conviction at my command that the efforts of these two leaders of our country have ensured that we are the fastest growing among the major economies, and we are well on our way to becoming 5 trillion economy in the world. Madam Nirmala Sitharaman, in her budget on 1st February, said a few words I would request everyone to recall. She said, our government is committed to keeping an ear to the ground and finger on the pulse while balancing nation-building efforts. This budget is definitely a very pragmatic budget. It reflects the practical approach of the government, and that is why it is extraordinary and it is rare. My dear friends, I come from Odisha, and at the outset, again, I must thank both the leaders, Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji and the Finance Minister, Madam Nirmala Sitharaman, for the huge outlay in railway infrastructure. With a double-engine government in Odisha, We have seen a lot of activities in the railway sector in terms of more number of trains, in terms of more number of routes, and in terms of renovation of more number of railway stations. Now, I also would like to mention here that there has been a boost in the Tribal Affairs Ministry's budget by around rupees 15,000 crore, about 45,000 more, and I'm sure this increase will translate into a lot of tribal welfare programs in states like Odisha. So, to my mind, this particular budget, with an estimated expenditure of around rupees 50,65,345 crore, will be focusing on 6 major sectors. Number 1, urban and rural growth. Number 2, investment. Number 3, exports. Number 4, middle class relief. Number 5, innovation and technology. And, of course, infrastructure. मिडिल क्लास रिलीफ, बंधुगण, आप सबको बताना चाहूंगी कि यह जो बजट है, यह आंकड़ों का और गणनाओं का बजट नहीं है, यह एक दृष्टिकोण है, यह एक विजन है। हम जानते हैं, आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी की सरकार जानती है और इस बात को समझती है कि अगर हमारे समाज को, हमारे देश को सुदृढ़ बनाना है, अगर सशक्त बनाना है, तो मध्यम वर्ग को सुदृढ़ और सशक्त बनाना होगा। एंड दैट इज व्हाई Prime Minister Modi's government has put in around rupees 1 lakh crore into the pocket of the middle class citizens, which is admirable. And I can tell you that this has been done by making the income up to rupees 12,75,000. I include the standard deduction, 12,75,000 completely tax-free. And this saving on account of this removal of this tax will definitely go towards more expenditure on education, healthcare, and of course there would be increased consumption spending. Now, my dear friends, I would request you to go back to 2005. In 2005, the income tax exemption limit was rupees 1 lakh. It took the then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's government 7 years to actually double it to 2 lakh in 2012. And please imagine, about 10 years back, if your income would have been 12 lakh rupees per annum, you would have to pay 2,60,000 rupees as income tax. Now I can say with all conviction at my command that the Madhyam Varg, the middle class of the country, is heaving a sigh of relief. And thanks to Honorable Prime Minister and Madam Nirmala Sitharaman. Some of the other aspects of the budget are noteworthy. I just have to mention those. All of us have heard Madam Nirmala Sitharaman, but I think at the cost of being repetitive, I would like to list out some of those. Number 1, Jal Jeevan Mission, under which about 12 crore tap connections have already been done, has been extended to 2028. And 67,000 crore rupees has been earmarked for the budget for Jal Jeevan Mission. Number 2, budget announced Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Dhanya Yojana. And this is extremely good for our Annadata. I must tell you that this particular scheme, in partnership with the states and 100 districts, will lead to increased productivity, improved irrigation facility, and will make available short-term and long-term credit very easily for our farmer friends. More focus on fruits and vegetables and pulses are the other highlights of the agriculture budget, which we must accept. Government will set up an urban challenge fund for rupees 1 lakh crore, and that would be going a long way in the implementation of proposals for city growth hubs. Gig workers. Who had thought of gig workers in the country? Our Prime Minister did, and I'm extremely proud of the fact that he did. He talked of the gig workers of online platforms. They would be actually being covered under Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, and they would also be given identity cards. a center of excellence for artificial intelligence would be set up. Rupees 500 crore have been earmarked for artificial intelligence, and all of us will wait and watch. A lot of things would be done in this sector. My dear friends, the budget has also announced the creation of National Manufacturing Mission and National Exports Mission. Now, to my mind, these two initiatives of the current Prime Minister Modi's government are extremely important because they would be leading to manufacturing competitiveness that is the key to the growth of GDP in the country, and there would be global competitiveness for our products, which is good for all of us. I'm delighted to inform all of you that in this past 10 years, Honorable Prime Minister has been focusing on increase in exports of goods from the country, and we have almost touched $800 billion per annum worth of exports. And the time is not far, Mr. Chairman, sir, when we would be touching $1 trillion worth of exports in the country. Carefully planned focus on a couple of sectors, leather and toy sectors, agriculture and marine sectors, textile and handicraft sectors, and MSME will lead to more jobs, more exports, and industrial growth. Sir, we all know that the total budget of India at this moment, rupees 50,65,345 crore, in terms of percentage of the GDP is less than 20%, I admit. But I say with all conviction at my command that a budget of a country is not just some figures on a page. The budget of a country reflects the intention of the government and the kind of direction which the government wants the country to take. So this budget is definitely an expression of the great intention of Prime Minister Modi's idea of having a Viksit Bharat. So it's not a mean achievement, my dear friends. Cutting across party lines, all my friends, my colleagues in the Lok Sabha, we need to appreciate that during the COVID times, the fiscal deficit of the country was 9.2% of the GDP, and it has been brought down to an estimated 4.4% of the GDP in this financial year 25-26 budget. So, a growth of 7% and above is not a mean achievement. I talked of all the problems that are going on in this world, geopolitical conflicts that I talked of. I talked of the protectionism approach of many of the countries in which we have to perform. I talked of the COVID issues. A growth of 7% and above, I must say, has led to two things which we must appreciate and acknowledge whether we like or not. One, we have become the fastest growing economy among the major economies. And number two, of course, this is an example of fiscal prudence. We have been able to handle our financial aspect extremely well. So, with these words, I lend my full support to the budget which was presented by Madam Nirmala Sitharaman on 1st February 2025. Thank you very much. Jai Jagannath.
Thank you. Thank you. Sri Amraram